course, welcome to yet another edition of Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes, right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Lawale Ayene, and I'll be your host for today. I have in the studio Alpha. Alpha, how are you doing today?
Pleasure to be here. Nice to be here once again.
Of course, Vivian joined us all the way from Sheffield. Vivian, how are you doing? Of course, okay. Of course, yesterday we were hoping that by the end of today, that we'll be celebrating another medal in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic game. But just so sad, that didn't happen. All our representatives that are actually, get to future in the Olympics, all crashed out. It was just so bad for our team Nigeria today. I would say another tsunami as a no rocker. The team Nigeria come right there in Tokyo. It all started from the disappointing, performance from our own Adekuoroye. We're all, expecting that she is going to qualify to the finals and eventually get to win a medal because in our own, category in the wrestling, she is, rated the second best in the world. But just so unfortunate that she actually lost her match 8-2. She actually, recorded a whole lot of points. She recorded 8 points against the Mongolian athlete, but because of the pinfall, she actually tap out at the end of the match. So as it is now, she has crashed out from the Tokyo Olympic Games. Alpha, what really went wrong? Because we are actually hoping on Odunayo that she was going to deliver a medal for Nigeria, but at this point in time, she has crashed out from the games.
She started the fight very well. Went up 8-2, 8-0, I think. In professional wrestling at the Olympics, a pin knock is almost what you call a knockout in boxing. So no matter how you beat your opponent, for instance, in boxing, no matter how you beat your opponents on points, just one knockout punch and the match could be over. So same scenario happened with Adekuoroye. Sad one for her. Sometimes, you prepare very well for a match, you get all your strategies right, but these things happen, even for instance in football, you prepare very well, you do the playing, you play team very well, then one rush of blood to the head and you concede a careless goal and that's the end of it. So in as much as she dominated the match, but at the end of the day she wasn't able to come out victorious, and we really hinged our hopes on her making it to the semi-final, which should have even given her a brighter chance of making it to the final. And it was really a sad moment after that defeat because coming up into the Olympics, she was really one of the people that you could point and really say that okay, there's no way she was going to come to Tokyo and leave without a medal. That's why after the loss, even her coach Daniel Gali was actually shedding tears. Members of the Ministry of Sports who all watched that match, it was complete silence after that match because everybody was terribly sad. And I can only imagine what she herself, who was the main participant, will even be going through if even people who were with her, members of Team Nigeria, were that sad. So I can imagine the kind of sadness she will be going through. So I hope that she's not depressed. She picks herself up again, and next time around try. But a sad one anyway. But she has done well. What more can we say? For now, we'll make do with the 2 medals that we've managed to grab so far. At least this performance has been better than what we did in 2016, where the football team was our only saving grace. So for now, we'll manage our 2 medals and work harder for France 2024.
Vivian, looking at that particular fight, we saw the Mongolian athlete getting to a pin Adekuoroye, and it was just so bad, so painful. Do you think she actually let her guard down for her to actually get that pin?
No, I don't think she let her guard down. Again, anything can really happen. But it was really shocking how the whole match played out. The reason why that I said that as well is because she was defeated in 2016 by Sweden component, and so she had to come back in 2020 even stronger. So I'd say that it is very shocking. Like you said, she's been crying, and her teammates have been crying as well. It's a really sad day for her. Hopefully in 2024 she can come back even better.
Hmm. Dapo joining us all the way from Lagos. Dapo, if you can hear me, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Of course, let's get your reaction between the match that actually saw Adekuroye didn't actually make it to the semi-finals.
For me, a very sad day. For me, a very sad situation over there in Tokyo. I was close to tears because I've actually monitored development preparation in the last 10 years, just to be grounded enough, to be strong enough to win an Olympic medal. Now it came as it was. I was very very surprised. I've never seen such a pinfall before in amateur wrestling. Though I know that there are technical knockouts and stuff like that, but I've never seen something like this before. She was pinned down totally. The other hand that she would have actually used to push her opponent away was also pinned. So it was no way out at all. It was no way out at all. Some of my colleagues actually watched the fight. They called me on phone and they were weeping. I'm talking about senior journalists. They were weeping. So while talking, I was also close to tears. If not, for the fact that my wife was around me, and said, it's sport. People have been there before. We have seen knockouts. We've even seen, devastating knockouts that you think the opponent in boxing that possibly the boxer you are supporting may not actually survive. But this one was not, like this was a total pinfall, and her neck was not, in any form of danger, but she could not move. It was a very devastating. And what actually, was agonizing to me was the kind of way she was shouting. The agony in that shout, got to me, and I didn't go back to the video. I did not even, go back to my television to say maybe I want to watch a recap of that fight. The shout, the agonizing shout was a message, she was sending out that all the 10 years I've actually labored to get an Olympic medal in this particular, Olympics is going away, and it has actually gone. So a very sad situation for Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians who loves her because she's very homely. She's dedicated to her career. She's everything. So I felt so bad today, but I'm okay now because I found out that it's all is sport. And when you look at the resources put in place to get Adekuroye to where she is today, you will actually pity those who have actually invested in her development. The likes of Dalali Gali, the likes of the general overseer of the Mountain of Fire and Miracles. I'm talking about Dr. DK Olukoya. They are the direct sponsors of Odonyo Adekuroye, and they are actually investing in our winning an Olympic medal after 10 years that they started. So it's a very sad situation, but we thank God that she's not injured. She was just pinned down, but we have to keep hoping. But what I'm saying, is that I don't want to say much. I don't want to say more because I don't want to say something that will make
Of course, if we want to look at Adekuroye's the medal she has won and those things that she has under her belt, you actually get to see her in the World Championship in 2017. She won silver medal. That was in Paris. In Las Vegas 2015, she won bronze. In New Sultan in 2019, she won bronze also. She is like the current holder of the Commonwealth. She has won the gold medal back to back in that
We are talking about
category.
Olympic.
No, no, I'm just reading out the medals that Adekuoroye has won in the past.
Preparations to the Olympic medal. It is 10 years after now, and all hopes were just pinned on that. No matter what, even if Kakbari does not pick anything now, Kakbari has lost out. She's not winning anything. Oduduru is also out. Aruna Kori is also out. Adekuroye will not be out without winning a medal. But it was a dream, a very devastating one, but it has actually done on us that it has happened. So, but what we have to keep encouraging her. My own fear now is the psychological effect. She's the pride of Nigerian sport. The psychological effect is going to be very, very devastating. But we need to nip it in the bud. There's a need for Team Nigeria. I don't want to talk about psychologists now because Funke Oshunake just said they never cited any psychologist in Tokyo that is wearing Nigerian jersey. So they don't let us talk about psychologists there. But we can use senior athletes to start the psychological battle. It is just unbelievable. But what do? It is sport. It has come. She has to try another time. The investment will continue. The exposure will continue until she gets there. But the bottom line is that Adekuroye, with all the struggle, with all the battles, with all the exposures, the pains, the money spent, I'm praying for her that come Paris 2024, she should be able to win a medal. But not the kind of medal she is supposed to win at this point in time. You can imagine somebody leading a wrestling fight 8-0. The Moldovan knew that if she does not go for a pinfall, there's nothing she could actually do about that fight. The fight was gone. But she's very experienced. For her to think like that, it's just also in boxing. You just be looking for the soccer punch. If you have lost so much points and your coach has given you the signal that you are losing, the only way is to knock down your opponent. So that was what actually happened. So it's a very big, a very big loss for Nigeria. Very big loss for all those who have actually invested so much in our development. But there's still there for me. I believe there's still hope. Come Paris 2024, she should be able to bounce back in terms of Olympic gold possibility. A world champ. She's a world champion for speaking out loud. A world champion, So let's just keep our fingers crossed and ensure the wrestling federation ensure our further development towards winning an Olympic gold. Some people were spreading the rumor today in the afternoon that there's a possibility that Adekuoroye will be,
Nigeria
competing for
represent.
another. Yes, it will be. There's a possibility that she'll be representing another country. All those are just rumors. Our manager spoke. Our manager is a journalist too. I'm talking about Godwin Enakina. Enakina is Oduayo's manager. And he is also a director in MFM Sports. He's the director of MFM Sports. Yes, MFM Sports. So he said, no, there's nothing like that. She's just very sad, but they are going to work on on her psychology. And now at this, in the next 2 days, she will be if she's not going to compete in the Greco-Roman, in the next 2-3 days, she should be back in Nigeria. So they are hoping that she may not be advised to compete in the Greco-Roman. Please let her come back to Nigeria so that they will start working on her.
Of course, Alpha, looking at the release from the sports ministry yesterday, that they actually tripled the price of the medalists and the gold, the bronze, and the silver. Could it be the possible, one of those reasons that actually affected Adekuoroye, looking at the possibility of if she was actually thinking about the prize money and she finally allowed her guard to go down. But at this point, could that be a possible reason for her, getting to lose that match?
Yes, such things, like I said yesterday, have a way of destabilizing athletes when they're down. And you, Takwa, rightly said that too. Because of that kind of gesture, you might be running and thinking that, okay, I just have 2 seconds to get to the finish line and this money is mine. So in that case, what you'll be thinking about won't even be the fight anymore, but the
Yes,
reward
it's
that will come
that money.
after the fight. So this kind of things could be responsible, but I wouldn't want to say that was completely one of what made her to lose. I think, and like was said, it was a strategy on the part of Nichita, because in this kind of fight, when someone beats you, you know, you knew that already you were almost on your way out of this game. You had lost the match technically. So I mean, for her to come up with that strategy, or maybe from pep talk from her coach that okay, you are 8-0 down. If you go for a pinlock, the fight is over. So this could be a strategy that they came up with to swing the fight in their favor.
Of course, but before I go to Vivian, because I really want to ask Vivian, didn't the coach didn't actually know see that coming? Because we know that that was a calculated move.
Mhm.
She actually went for it, and it was just at the right time. But for now, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, Vivian will be answering that question. Don't go nowhere.
Preview.
Welcome from that short break. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Vivian, you actually saw that match. Didn't the Nigerian coach, didn't he actually see that coming for Adekuoroye?
Yeah, the question remains if the tactic used is commonly used by the Moldova wrestler. Was that something that could have been included in the training? I'm pretty sure they knew that that is, of course, a tactic that can make you lose completely. So there's a lot of questions, but I just pray that this doesn't affect her too much mentally.
Of course. We have a quick update coming from the chairman of the Wrestling Federation, talking about Dana Gali, he just dropped down, so I just have to read it as it is now. We all have very high hopes on Adekuoroye to medals at these Olympics. We prepare very well. Of the 16 athletes here, Adekuoroye had wrestled against about 9 of them. This is the third time she was wrestling against the Moldovan. She had destroyed her 10-0 in each of the last 2 contests. Within 2 minutes of the match this morning, Adekuoroye had already built up a healthy lead, wrestled cautiously and tactically, was winning 8-0 on the verge of getting the last 2 points to win the match by superiority before she was reversed and pinned. It was a workplace accident, to say the least. Understandable, she is inconsolable. She feels as she has disappointed the whole nation. She feel her pain. We feel her pain. We are equally pained because over 80% of wrestling enthusiasts has, had the odds of favor to plug a gold in Tokyo. But by God's way, we are not. But by God's way, we are not as. Rest assured that she has a loving and supportive group around her. The next 24 hours of grief are always the hardest, but we trust that she will be fine. The minister and his team, the NOC president and his team, and all the teammates, the coaches, and myself are here for her. I have personally spent all afternoon with her. She has refused food all afternoon, but we went out and got some food this evening. Her was even able to make her laugh this evening before she retired to seek the comfort of her bed. I thank all of you for your prayers, for your loving support towards the wrestling team, for Adekuoroye and Nigeria's Olympic contingent here in Tokyo. Our competition was to win multiple medals at this Olympic, but we are extremely happy with the silver medal won by Blessing yesterday. Delay is not denial, although I will likely be at the peak in Paris. I have no doubt that 3 years will be a blink. She has spoken to her GO and feel more relaxed after the fatherly advice. One request I have for you, please allow her to be for a while. If I could feel like I had been shot, I can imagine how awayful she has been feeling. But also now that she is very mentally rough and young, a woman who will bounce back in no time. The last word before she left my room this evening was, President, we should all be happy. The wrestling team won a silver medal. We all won. I will not cry again. I want to take her by her word and believe that she will not cry again. Many thanks for all your love, Daniel Egali. That is actually coming from the chairman caretaker committee of the Wrestling Federation, talking about Daniel Egali. Before I go to that, but what do you make of this, comment from Daniel Egali on Adekuoroye?
I mean, solid words of encouragement. I mean, what more can the president of a federation like the wrestling one say? I like the fact that he's been personally involved in, the training and development of Adekuoroye over the years. He's, closely. She's been like, the best kept secret of the wrestling federation. So I really appreciate the support and the words of advice that he has given to her. And like he said, this is not the time for the media or critics or whatever to start criticizing her performance. I mean, she's done very well, whichever way you want to say it, she's done very well, and she deserves to be commended and to just be left alone to completely recover and focus for other competitions and tournaments that will come her way much later in future. So nice words of encouragement coming from Daniel Gal himself. He's been there, done that, a gold medal himself. So he understands the nitty-gritties of wrestling. So I commend him for releasing the statement. It's way to go.
But what do you make of the statement, and where should we go from here?
He was a world champion. He was an Olympic gold medalist. So he knows actually where the shoe, pinches. And you also know that there's nothing, there's no big deal. Sometimes when you lose a fight that you are supposed to win, you cannot just imagine being up by 8-0 in a fight that you end at 10-0. just 2 more points, and instead of that, consolidating and winning. And already, even at 8-0, all our minds will be that she has already won already. But what happened has happened. I think the way forward here is to first and foremost ensure that Adekuroye is balanced, psychologically. I read a promise to the Federation President, Daniel Gali, that she won't, cry anymore. But I want to assure you that midway of the night, she will, on her own, still cry. Then in the morning, whenever she sees people around, she will not. She will just control herself. But it is the beginning of the way forward. She should be monitored. Should be monitored, and I know in the Games Village right there in Tokyo, we have two athletes to a room. I think somebody who can actually monitor her, a female, should actually move to her room. I'm sure they can actually reassign a Blessing of Oboduduru to move to her room so that they will be there together. They can chat. They can go out, go to the TV room in the dining area, and actually, discuss the way forward. I'm sure already, as they are competing now for the Daniel Gali, I know there will have been another standing championship immediately after the Olympics. But they don't wait. Wrestling federations don't wait for nobody. They just want to develop and win for Nigeria. They are not just winning for themselves. If the opportunity comes for World Championship, they still compete. But it's all about getting ready to compete for Nigeria. So the way forward is the Wrestling Federation. They know what to do. The president knows what to do. He's also a psychologist on his, on his own. Yeah, I'm close to him, so I know his words. So they should immediately look for a already they have competitions that they will go to immediately. Then she can start the rebuilding process there. Not rebuilding as per skills, the rebuilding from the psychological angle of it. She's already a world champion. What happened just happened, but nothing anybody can do about it. Sometimes you lose a very promising game, and what do? It's just the attribute of a true sports personality. When you win, you celebrate. When you lose, you fall back to your shell and replan and re-strategize. One way or the other, she will have been seeing the Moldovan opponent making moves to give her a pinfall. But possibly, maybe she ignored it until the lady, perfected her hold and clipped her fingers together to lock that pinfall, to establish it and to keep her on the floor for as long as the referee will call for a pinfall and end of the fight. So
how painful can that pin be?
No, it's not harmful. It will not push. There won't be any push on her neck, but the fact is that you cannot stand up from it. The lock is the fist. The fingers are locked together and twisted, and she applied so much pressure. You cannot come out, but there won't be any pressure on your neck. There was no pressure on her neck to suspect any form of suffocation. And even if you are suffocating, you will see it from the move of the wrestler that is being pinned. So there was no danger that could actually lead to loss of life, but it was just a pin hole that you cannot get out of. You have minutes, you have the time you're supposed to be on the mat. There's regulations, there are rules and regulations. There's a specific time that you're supposed to be on the mat with your back on the mat, without you standing up to continue or to restart the fight. So she was pinned down armlessly, but she couldn't actually get out of her own. If her second arm was not locked, her right arm was locked in that pin, which means the Moldovan actually planned very well for it. But if the right arm was not pinned with that lock, she will have gotten the opportunity to push out of it, because already as they are fighting, their body will get slippery, and you can wriggle out of any hold. But her second arm was not free. The hand was locked together with the pin hold. So she was helpless, and any other person would have been helpless in that situation. No matter how muscular you are, it's a technical fall. So she was pinned down. Nothing she could actually do. The left hand was just there. The left hand is not as powerful as when your right hand that will help you, push and get out of trouble. So that was what happened. That was what happened. It has happened. Let us keep looking ahead for better competition for her, for better performances for her to recover from this psychological thing that has happened to her.
Vivian, let's just get your thought quickly before we move to the next athlete.
It is really sad that, for example, she refused food all afternoon and her mental state may not be the best right now. But again, it looks like she have a very strong supportive system around her, and hopefully she can come back more stronger than this next time.
Of course, if you actually look at Adekuoroye last outing at the Rio Olympic Games, she was actually defeated by Swedish athlete, talking about Sofia Martinsen in the quarterfinals at Rio in Brazil. That was in the last Olympic, and just so sad that at this point in time she has been sent up packing from the Olympic Games. She was, there was a chance for her to actually, compete for the bronze medals, position, but the athlete that actually defeated her was also defeated on her road to the final. So at this point in time, it means that the hope and the chances of her, getting to win medal in the Olympic Games has been shattered and is all over for Adekuoroye. Next up will be her, looking forward to Paris 2024 and ensure that she can actually win the medal. Of course, she's just 27 years old at this point in time, so she still have a whole lot ahead of her, so that she can able to come back stronger in that particular one. Away from Adekuoroye, now we move to another wrestler. This time it is her main counterpart, talking about Ekeru Keme. He, of course, he was also defeated in his own fight earlier today. He was defeated 12-1. For me, that's a scandalous. That's a scandalous defeat. But let's just talk about it.
While we're here, in spite of Adekuoroye's defeat, we are still celebrating her because of what she has been able to achieve over the years. Even her performance in this fight until the unfortunate incident of the pinlock. Then here's another Nigerian wrestler who went in for his fight and was beating black and blue.
Of course, by Indian athlete, talking about Punya in the 86 category. Wow, it is
Exactly.
kg category.
So
12-1.
Scandalous.
That's a wicked boy of the tournament.
Yes, but no doubt about that. His Indian opponent was tipped to win. He's also a tested wrestler. So, and for me, no surprise though. But I didn't really expect, this kind of results. I knew it wasn't going to be, a close match, sort of to say, but not a 12-1 kind of thing. So be it as it may, like Wally said yesterday, so far the women at the Tokyo Games, women are all leading the charge. Almost all the best performances we've recorded so far in the Olympics have come from the women. Even the medals, the only thing that we can say, okay, this is what we want to achieve in Tokyo, have come from the women. So I think the men should, do better. I don't know what went wrong for him, for Aguiomo, but yes, his Indian opponent is highly ranked too, but I expected him to put up a great fight, but in this case, it wasn't the case. So he was roundly beaten, and he too, his Tokyo 2020 journey, has sadly come to an end.
Too bad. Vivian, looking at his performance, what do you think went wrong? Could it be the fact that the defeat of Adekuoroye was actually affected him psychologically?
That could be an option as well. But the simple fact was that he was against a very strong component, a very strong opponent. The Indian champion. He's actually ranked number one in the category itself. And he has also won silver in the world champions as well. So he was up against someone that was, I'd say, maybe more stronger than himself. But we can only look forward to the next Olympics and the next Commonwealth Games and the next World Championships.
Of course, Dapo, looking at Ekeku Kereme, uh, looking at him, he's just 26 years old here. He has won the African Championship 2018 in Port Harcourt in the 79 kg. He actually won bronze 2019 in the same 79 kg. Actually, one bronze also in Algiers 2020. I know that was the qualification, tournament for the Olympics. But looking at him and his performance at this point in time, he's just 26 years old. Do we actually get to see him perform well in Paris?
Yes, it will continue to train. It will continue to fight until he gets to where he wants to be. It doesn't mean that 12-1, is not necessarily. It does not necessarily mean that he's not a good, fighter. In fact, when you watch a wrestling fight, you will not even understand how they are getting this point. You will see that the fighter is still, very, very stable and he's being counted against, points have been counted against him. They are just there. They have their rules, they have their techniques. So there are some things that we may not understand in the kind of fight, in the way the counts are made in wrestling. But by and large, in the past and even up to now, the women wrestlers have been the pride of Nigeria. Each time they go out for any international competition, it is always the ladies that come out top. They are the ones that have actually been the pride of Nigeria. And when you look at even all the sports, the majority of the athletes that have given us glory in our glory days in sports, they are all women. They are all women. Not because I'm a proponent of women's sports, but it is just the fact. It is the fact. It is the fact. It is the fact. When you do your computation very well, you will see that all our major glories were actually given to us by the women. So that's why for me, I keep supporting women's sports. But that doesn't mean that the men are not also good. But it's like, for me, the women, when the case is sport for Team Nigeria, it has always been women. So let us continue supporting them, especially this male wrestler in Tokyo. He has tried his best, and he's still there. He has just lost in freestyle. He's still going to fight in Greco-Roman. Some of these wrestlers, they are specialists. Like Adekuoroye, she is a specialist in freestyle. This other fighter may be a specialist in his own right. He may be a specialist in Greco-Roman. And in the past also, we have won, by the time you do your own competition right, we have won more laurels in Greco-Roman than in freestyle. So that record is still there. So let us see if our other athletes, aside from Blessing, has won a valuable silver in the freestyle, the others can still do well in Greco-Roman. So the opportunity is still there. So let's just continue to support them. Let us continue to be hopeful that these athletes will do well in Tokyo. No, we've started already, but we see there's a need for us to support them. And please, those who are coming to make promises about money should keep their money away from the team, from the games village. Keep it away. When they perform and they are satisfied, give them whatever you want to give them. Don't announce to them. Money does not go together with sports. It doesn't go together. It is a very big distraction. And it's those who kept talking about it, they will not stop talking about it. Keep it away. When they win, give them whatever you want to give them. Give them all their dues. It has been like that before in Nigeria until 2003 when we hosted the All African Games and they started brandishing cash in front of our athletes. And what has been the result from that time up till now? We have not done well. We have not done well compared to how we did in the past. Keep your money away. Let them win first. At the end of the games, see, this is for you. Those that won the gold, those that won the silver, those that won the bronze. These are the gifts for you. These are the monetary, gifts for you. It was like that before, but these days I don't know I don't know. Maybe because we have gone away from the era of the National Sport Commission. The National Sport Commission is actually run by professionals, sport professionals, but sports ministry, we are almost politicians coming there in and out, and they don't follow the tenets of sport. They don't follow the regulations of sport. So it is just, we are just in that situation now, and I'm praying that the National Sport Commission should come back. I'm praying. I'm one of the supporters, hoping that it should come back. After they left, Nigerian sport has been in a mess. It has not been the same. So please, they should do all they are supposed to do and keep the money away from these athletes. The only thing that you can give them their because there's the daily allowance. I think every day for some games from the Commonwealth Games, I think every day is about $100. For Olympics, it is $200. Every day they have their camping allowance. They also have their bonuses. But when you want to give them gifts for winning, gold overall, keep it away. Keep it away from them so that they can just go there and perform professionally.
Of course, keep all the money promises away from the athlete. That is actually coming from Dakar at this point in time. But now we need to go for another commercial break. When we come back, we'll be reading your comments. You can actually go to our Facebook page and our YouTube page, send in your comments, and be rest assured that we are going to read them as they come. Of course, you can also share all our videos for you to actually call your friends and family to join in the show. But for now, we'll go for a short break. Don't go nowhere. Welcome from that short break. Is still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. And moving to the next story that we have for you today, we are talking about canoeing at this point in time, where Nigerians are only representative in the Olympic Games. Talking about Ayomide Bello, actually, placed third in her own heat. She finished 40, 47.326 second in the quarterfinal event of the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. It means that she didn't actually make it to the semi-final. It means that she has actually crashed out from the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. But looking at Ayomide, we know she's a young lad. We saw her exploits at the All African Games. She won two gold medals for Nigeria in that particular one. Coming to this Olympic, we thought she was going to actually fight and put doubters, prove bookmakers wrong. But at this point in time, she has been sent off in the 200 meters event.
For sports like canoeing, for instance, not disrespect to the sport, but competing for it at the Olympics, yeah, good thing, but it's not really one of our strongest points. But I'm not saying that we can't get better in it. I mean, good one for her to even be able to make it to the Olympics, for us, to represent Nigeria in canoeing. In Africa, yes, we sort of have done quite well, especially in the All Africa Games. But when
Even in the African Championship.
even in the African Championship, you're basically in. Oh yeah, exactly. So some of these sports, when you take it outside, when you go intercontinental outside the shores of Africa, becomes rather a different ball game altogether because you begin to compete against people who start doing who got into the sport at a very young age, who are taking who this sport comes naturally to them. So at that level it becomes a bit difficult to make a certain level of impact. But no disrespect to her, she came third in the semi-final, which was not enough, even though her timing was quite a good timing. But unfortunately the other people who she competed against had slightly better timing, so she couldn't make it to get qualification to at least have a chance of competing in the final. But I mean, that's to say at least she even came a bit close. So who knows if she keeps training, keeps putting in the work, and maybe being exposed to better facilities. Who knows what she might do in France. Before France, we have the All African Games will still come around. The Commonwealth Games will come around. So these are also competitions where she can still go there further, test herself the more, gain more experience, more exposure before the Olympics comes back around in another 3 years time. So no hard feelings. Good one for her for even taking the courage to participate in a sport like canoeing at the Olympics.
Looking at Ayomide's credentials, she has won in the last All African Games. She actually won 4 gold medals. She won the gold medal in the C1 200 meters event, C1 500 meters event, C2 200 meters event, C2 500 meters event, all at the Rabat Games 2019. In 2018, at the Youth Games, she actually won 2 gold medals for Nigeria. The youth at the African Youth Games, she actually won that. She represented Nigeria at the Summer Youth Olympic Games, and in that particular one, she did not win any medal in this in those events. But she has been impressive when it comes to the African continent. But at the world biggest stage, she's yet to develop to deliver. Vivian, what is actually no wrong with athletes? They get to dominate Africa, but at the world biggest stage where it matters the most, we don't see them, getting to the podium finish.
I think it's based on what we've been talking about so far: training, distractions, chaos, all of this that you wouldn't find in other countries, for example, Britain or the United States, where they're really focused on sport and there's that culture surrounding sport that is built from a very young age. But to have benefit, I'd say that at 19, she's already a role model. She has so much to go from here, and to her benefit, of course, when she did her performance, she was actually faster than a Japan competitor and an Australian competitor. So I'd say that she has so much to go, and we just hope that again she's going to mature as she moves forward in the event.
Of course, if you look at even facility in Nigeria when it regards canoeing, and rowing sports, you just find out that you should just here in Abuja that we have, the Abuja Boat Club where there is a facility for them to actually train. But in the last national sport festival, the games couldn't go on due to the fact that there was no facility in Edo State. And for me, we should have actually get to discover a whole lot of talent, and for for Bello to actually get to train hard and improve on our timing. But at this point in time, we need all hands to be on deck to ensure that we get those facilities ready for our athletes to train, because it would be so sad that we have the athletes, but for what they we used to train, they don't really have it in the country. So the owners now boils down to now goes to the sports ministry for them to actually do the needful and to ensure that our athletes get facilities for them to train ahead of future competition. But moving away from canoeing at this point in time, we head straight to athletics, where Issei Brume, who actually won a bronze medal for Nigeria in the long jump event, she has actually reacted on her getting to win the bronze medal. But for now, let's go and watch the video, and when we come back, it's time for us to actually say one or two things about what Issei Brume actually said.
I'm grateful to God for the opportunity. I'm not just an Olympian right now, I'm an Olympic medalist. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
So, Essay, there are a lot of people who feel like you have everything. You're a three-time African champion, reigning African Games champion, 2014 Commonwealth Games champion, World Championships medalist, now Olympic medalist. Is there any other medal you're still looking for?
Yes.
What medal is that, or what medals?
Let me just say, marriage medal.
Oh, marriagement medal. Nice. Nice. So, what plans do you have to make that a reality?
I don't know yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting, but hopefully in the future, I'm praying for that.
Okay. So, Essay, there are people who have hit out at your speech saying okay, you would like to take the medal, to meet Bishop Oyedepo and all of that. So what would you say to them?
Sorry, can you come again?
Okay, so I said there are people who have said different things, because you said you want to present your medal, to Bishop Oyedepo, and people have said all sorts of things on the internet. What would you say to them?
So everybody have what they believe in, and everybody have their spiritual parents. So Bishop David Oyedepo is my spiritual father, and it's someone I look up to spiritually. So I don't really care about what people say about my statement yesterday concerning me presenting my medal to him. So far, I believe in Bishop David Oyedepo and the God he serves. He's my father. Bishop David Oyedepo is my father, and the God he serves, which is Lord Jesus Christ, he is my father as well. And I've been following his principles, especially his principle about faith, and that has been.
Issei Brume right there. At this point in time, she's actually looking for marriage medal. Alpha.
Let's go. Let's throw it out to all the eligible bachelors out there who might be interested in marrying her.
Okay, we should trade it open.
Yeah, we are trading it open. I mean, it's an invitation. She just said.
I thought you actually brought one to the studio today.
Brought what?
Marriage medal to the studio.
No, at all. I don't have one.
But at this point, that was on the lighter note. But at this point, I'm looking at the comment at what she actually said right there, that she wants to present the medal to Bishop to David Oyedepo, being her spiritual father, and she cannot even express the joy of her getting to win an Olympic medal, because she has won virtually all the medals, the African, the Commonwealth, and the Olympic, and the World Championship. What do you make up of this easy Brunei at this point in time?
I mean, like she rightly said, yes, of course, such statements will always, come with all kinds of backlash, criticisms, and all of that. But like she said rightly, I mean, everybody have sort of like a mentor who they look up to. So some people at the Olympics will win their medal and say, "I'm taking it to my father or my mother." So if she feels okay, um, the bishop is someone she looks up to, someone I look up to, and I mean, I've learned from his principles. Let me present my medal to him. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's her choice, a matter of choice. I mean, she won the medal, not any of those people criticizing. And if you're not happy with it, maybe France is way by the corner. You can also compete, and when you win it, you can take it to wherever you want to. But I don't really see anything wrong in, her statement. So it's a matter of choice, and if that's what I mean, will make her feel good, sort of. I mean, then I don't have any issues with that at all.
Vivian, what do you make of our comments?
I'd say that whoever she wants to take the medal to, that's up to her. What I really liked about the video is how much she's smiling, how much she's happy, and how this is her dream, and she was able to fulfill that through the hard work, and without any, leaving behind the distractions and the chaos that was created during the Olympics so far. So I'm really happy for her. I really like seeing her smiling the way that she does, and hopefully she can come back again.
Of course, so hopefully she can actually come back again. I don't know if I'm going to be applying, for that particular medal that she's actually waiting to get. But we're going to talk about that one at the end of the show. At the end of the show. But at this point in time, we moved to another athlete. She didn't actually get to win the medal, but she did an impressive. She actually put up an impressive performance. Talking about Toby Amuso, because she actually finished the fourth place in the 100 meters hurdles event for the female team. But at this point in time, she actually talked about her performance and what the future actually was for her. Let's just sit back and watch the video.
We're here with Team Nigeria's Toby Amusa, who competed in the 100 meters hurdles at the Tokyo Olympics. Toby became the first Nigerian woman since Sydney 2000 to make the finals of the 100 meters hurdles. Toby, this is a few days after your race. How are you feeling now? How are you doing now?
It's sad I have to say this, but I'm getting better. And I'm moving forward positively. It's another lesson. And by the time I come out of this, I'll come back stronger.
Mm-hmm. So what other positives or lessons are you taking from this?
It's a lot of lessons. It's a lot, mentally, it's a lot of lessons I've learned. Physically, I think I was ready, but mentally, I wasn't. So I think my mental part, let me down. But like I said, I'll come back stronger.
So a lot of people were surprised to see you at the stadium yesterday cheering your friend, Brume, How were you able to overcome that disappointment to be able to put up such a display of that spirit of sportsmanship?
Yeah, I didn't do as much as I wanted to do, get on the podium, but, I have my roommate, my best friend, my sister, and I won't let my own setback, hinder me from going to the chair, which, I had to brace up myself, and, I went out there going for her, and she did. Me, myself, my coach did the entire nation proud.
Yeah. So, Toby, what's next for you? Competing in more meets this year?
Definitely. The work continues. Yeah.
All right. All the best, Toby.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Looking at her comment, she said she was ready physically, but she was not ready mentally due to the fact that she actually lost her boyfriend before the Olympic Games. Just so sad. But what do you make of her comment? Looking at what she said she was ready physically, but mentally she was not ready.
Clearly, I mean, no matter how physically you're prepared for something, I mean, what drives your physicality or your body, your mind? So if no matter how strong you are and you're ready for a fight, if mentally you're not, up there, there's little much you can do. So I mean, she clearly stated, and I like the fact that she was being honest about it. So she knew that she didn't really do her best, maybe based on her state of mind. So we wish her well, just to give her all the support she needs. She did well, notwithstanding. She's not like she did very badly. She missed out on the chance of going further just by a couple of seconds because she actually came fourth. So but it was unfortunate that she couldn't take it a step further. But there's always room for improvement. So I hope that in the other competitions, that will still happen. Maybe next year, before next Olympics, this should serve as a good testing ground for some of these athletes who, a lot of things really went wrong. No, not notwithstanding, a lot of things surrounded this Tokyo Olympics. So you would really wouldn't blame a lot of the artists for, the state of mind. So that's why even the ones who have been able to win some medals, I kudos to them because with everything that's went, surrounded the Olympics, I seriously at a point I thought that Nigerians, wasn't even possible, but somehow at least we have two medals in spite of everything that's gone wrong. So it's a really difficult time for a lot of these athletes. 10 athletes were disqualified. I mean, someone who was supposed to be our spring queen couldn't get to. So I can imagine, the kind of feeling, the kind of atmosphere that permeated the camp during when all of these things were happening. This kind of things were big enough to pull anybody down and keep you in a sort of state of mind. But some of these athletes still put that behind them and still rose up to the occasion. So kudos to her. There's always a chance to try to. She still has a bit of age on her side, I think. So I only wish her the best going forward.
Vivian, were there psychologists for Team Nigeria in the Olympics? If they were, did he or did they actually do their job diligently?
Um, if they were or they were not, I don't think Nigeria as a country, it focuses too much on the mental state of its population, regardless. So I think when it comes to the situation now, it's really amazing how she can still be positive about it, saying that she's going to come back again even stronger. And again, she reached fourth, so there's nothing stopping her next time to reach third and get the bronze. But the most important thing right now is that she's well rested and that her mental health is at a good position.
Of course, at this point in time, I feel we need to actually take more of psychologies to further subsequent games because it had this effect on them because it has this way of motivating those athletes going forward. It's just so sad
Like
that
Vivian rightly said, we really don't take mental issues in this country seriously. Sometimes when you're going even through this kind of psychological things, you know how we Nigerians so do attribute it to your village people or some kind of superstitious arrangement. But in most cases, that's really not the case. A lot of people are going through a lot of mental things, and you need someone to give you, that support to take you through that process of, mentally putting you at, in top shape. So, like Vivian said, we really need, to, employ more services of psychologists, especially in our teams, especially for tournament competitions like the Olympics, because when these kind of artists are not at their best mentally, how do you get them back to their best if you don't have people who are actually trained in the job of psyching you up? So it's something that we really need to take seriously, especially in our sports and in other areas of life as well.
of course, we need to actually take that very, very seriously when it comes to getting our athletes get prepared for their competition. It's just so sad that at this point in time, some of our athletes actually they get to win medal due to their mental state, which is not actually not good for the country. But going forward, the sport ministry to ensure that we have psychologists in every of our contingents going for international competition. That will actually help them a lot for them to put them in the right frame of mind going to compete in the the match venues. But I was still talking about athletics, where our own Chibu Ebuka is set to a podium finish when he starts his game tomorrow. We know that he's a short putter. He actually qualified to the finals as one of the best. He was ranked seventh in the semi-final event that ensure his qualification to the finals of the event, which will be which will be holding tomorrow. Because earlier, when he actually qualified for the final, we saw a video. I don't know if my producer have that video. He was actually washing his jersey, because he was actually given just one pair of jersey for that particular game. But just so sad at this point in time, there's a press release that actually came out from him saying that he's now focused to get to win medals, and he has put all the happenings behind him. That the sports minister has actually weathered him into the storm, and everything he's calm at this point in time. He's calling for all the support from Nigeria ahead of this epic final match tomorrow. But we have a video of him. We just want to watch that video now.
And how does it feel being at the Olympics?
It's a big honor. This is I call it the PhD of athletics. So it takes 10 years to earn it. I've earned it. I did it the right way, and I made the final on my first attempt. So I think it's a good experience in that way.
Okay. And so yesterday you posted a video that went viral. It looked like you're having fun, but can you just elaborate, like, what it was all about?
Yeah, I was just having fun. I'm happy I made the final, and I get to compete again. Some people come here and compete one time, and I get to compete twice. So I threw in the competition. Right after the competition, I went and worked out, and I was sweaty and chalky, and I just had to clean my jersey off for the next day.
Okay. All right. All the best.
I appreciate it.
All right.
You saw that video. He was actually washing his jersey. The last time we saw this kid out was when Sunday Luce actually said that during the Atlanta '96 that they were actually washing the jersey. For crying out loud, the EFN had a deal with Puma, and they actually supplied the kids over 40 items was in that bag to Tokyo, but due to the politics, due to the crisis, rocking the EFN, the athletes were not even allowed to use those kits, and there was a deal with the Puma that Adibin is a Brume actually get to wear that jersey when she actually won the bronze medal. She should have gotten some some funds from Puma, but that didn't actually happen due to the crisis of the EFL. But at this point in time, do you see him putting all these disappointments behind him and getting to fight for a podium finisher tomorrow?
I mean, clearly from that interview, he clearly stated it. I mean, like he said, he didn't even expect the video to go viral and make the round to the media the way he did. He just having fun, just saying, okay, yes, I participated in an event. This is the only jersey I have, so I need to wash it to prepare for my next event. He actually made light of the situation, but moving forward, really, this kind of things should not be happening at this stage in our sporting life in this country. We should have gone past this kind of issues. No fault of the athletes. If the Puma deal thing and all everything that happened, if we are taking all those kids, we wouldn't be seeing these kinds of things, because there were more than enough kids for every athlete. In fact, the kids were more than enough to even last. In fact, they would have come back from Tokyo and still give us some of those kids to some of their friends and families as maybe souvenirs or something like that. But just because of some, politics among some, big men in quotes, like the athletes were the ones who were now taking the brunt of all these things. But we look forward to that shot put match, and I really appreciate guys like this who leave the comfort of their homes and their surroundings that they are used to all the way in the United States and come just to represent, their fatherland, to don the green, white, green. So whenever they come like this, I really appreciate their effort, because, I mean, there's a lot of maybe his compatriots who were born and grew up in America who might not even want to be associated with anything Nigeria for that matter, or even Africa for that matter. But I mean, he has taken the challenge upon himself, came and he has represented Nigeria, and now he's in the final. So we only hope that tomorrow, hopefully, he does very well, and we'll see another medal hopefully. Because as it stands, I think it's maybe like one of our other 2 or 3 last medal hopefuls that we have. So if you'll be able to snap up something, I think that would be a big boost and good addition to the 2 medals that we have in our kitty already. So we'll be looking forward to that one in the early hours of tomorrow. So
Vivian, let's get your reaction on the Chukwuebuka, qualifying for the finals and him getting to watch just one pair of his kit ahead of the final.
I think the jersey situation was just a representation of what's happening in Team Nigeria. Someone that has reached the final but doesn't have the facility and the system surrounding him to actually help him focus on the actual final. So it's really interesting to see. It's really sad to watch, but I'd say that when it comes to his performance specifically, his personal best is 21.80 meters, which is slightly lower than his opponents like the United States, who is the current world holder, or even who is aiming for the third position, who is a Brazilian that has around 22 meters. So I'd say that if he really wants to get at least bronze, he needs to do way more than his personal best. And hopefully we see that coming tomorrow.
Of course, my producer have the video of Chukwuebuka getting to watch his kit. I just want you guys to take a look at it.
When you made the Olympic finals, but you only have one jersey.
Of course, just so sad. After 25 years, the last time that we went to Olympics and our athletes, was subjected to them, watching their kids was in Atlanta '96, and this is just over 25 years, and,
exactly,
and we are still
that kind
getting
of thing
to
is
see.
repeating itself again.
Of course, and we are still getting to see all these. But we have a certain pro market. I don't know if my producer have that pictures. Of course, we are going to we are going to show that to you
Like
in
you
a very
said,
short while.
the market thing, by the time the Olympics are done and the return, that's another matter entirely.
Mm.
That I think the sports ministry and the AFN will have to answer for, because Puma already threatening litigations here and there,
Of course.
because you can't sign a deal with a respected sportswear maker like Puma, then you renege on the deal just because of some internal wranglings. That's none of their business. The whatever crisis you have in your sports federation is not there. They're not concerned about that. So, and they pay plenty of money for athletes to don these kids out there in Tokyo, but it wasn't to be. Just like you mentioned, the case of it's improvement, and a lot of times these kit deals come with those kind of packages. When you wear these kits, if you get to a certain stage of the competition, some certain benefits get to you. I mean, and especially for some very elite players. I mean, take the example of just to digress a bit, of Ronaldo in France '98 World Cup. The final match against Brazil, Ronaldo was not supposed to be in that match because he actually took ill before he stepped on the pitch. But as a result of a Nike deal he had for that boot then, which was about $60 million, the executives at Nike had to, impress it on the Brazilian Federation to ensure that they do everything possible for Ronaldo to step on the pitch.
Just to cut you short, we're just talking about the Puma deal, and there's a breaking news at this point in time that Puma has terminated the 4-year deal contract with the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. The news is just dropping, and now let me just get to read it. German sportswear manufacturer giant Puma has terminated its 4-year contract with the Athletics Federation of Nigeria in a later dated Wednesday 4th. August 2021, signed by the company's director, talking about Emmanuel. Puma said it was officially notified the Athletic Federation of his termination of his sponsorship and license agreement. We are referring to this license and sponsorship agreement signed between our company and the Federation as a direct consequence of recent developments, particularly at the Tokyo Olympic Games 2020, a pursuit of clause 9.2 and 7.3 of the agreement, we are hereby terminate the agreement with immediate effect. Toma especially declared to be discharged from any of all obligation towards all stakeholders involved and reserve all rights against these entities and individuals. The Athletic Federation of Nigeria, under the leadership of Engineer Ibrahim Kuso, signed a 4-year deal last year, and at this point in time, it has been terminated. Too bad at this point in time.
I mean, and coincidentally, we were just talking about it, and the statement dropped. I mean, so you see these kinds of things. A 4-year deal has been terminated. If
a deal worth 2.7
exactly,
$1 billion,
big money, and this would have been, I mean, this would have been a boost to the sport in the country, and this deal now has been terminated. So, what message, the attitude with the internal wranglings in the AFN, what message are you even sending to other global sport makers who want to do business again with Nigeria with this kind of thing?
Nobody wants to do, because even the sports ministry, they said the deal was surrounded with criminal investigation. The case, even the sports ministry invited the DSS to actually look at the case. But at the end of the day, the DSS actually cleared
exactly
the AFN of any wrongdoing. But for me, I feel it's just this power tussle between the sports industry and the AFN, and that has landed Nigeria to another international disgrace.
Exactly. As if everything that happened around Tokyo Olympics was not even enough. Now, just while we are still in the Olympics, we are coming to hear this kind of story again of a deal being terminated. So how do you expect the rest of the world to see Nigeria? To see Nigeria? I mean, they won't really portray Nigeria in good light. This does not speak well of the sport in the country, on the AFN, and by extension, even the ministry.
Of course, and we want our sport to develop. Now, look, it would now be difficult for other manufacturers to come and do business with Nigeria, because we say eventually another government can come and get that to terminate.
And every day we keep talking of people investing in the sport. So you see, but these are some of the things that make people, they'll look cold feet when it comes to investing in sport in Nigeria, because when you're putting money in something, you expect to see at least some return, or at least to get some sort of leverage from whatever you're putting. You don't just throw money. Sport is not a charity thing. So, but when you're a private investor, you start thinking about these things. If I put my money in this thing, supposing a crisis situation arises, what happens? How do I make my profit back? So things like this are really discouraging things. And, I really think after this Olympics, I don't know if it would be like a sort of forum but something just has to be done to set everything right. I mean, there are too many wranglings in almost all the federations. Almost all the federations. None of the federations has a president. Every federation is currently run by a caretaker chairman. This needs to stop. After the Olympics, I think the minister needs to sit down, put his house in order, conduct proper elections try to bring all the parties involved in all of this, bring all the factions together, and sort this thing out amicably.
The painful part of this whole Poma Bohaha and the sports ministry is just so sad that we have now spent another money, producing another kit, instead of we have just where we are supposed to save that particular money and we'll make use of
a deal that was already there already. The kits were available already, but we had to abandon that deal to now go and contract some unknown kit maker.
So sad. Now we have to go for another short commercial break. When we come back, we still have a lot in the package. Dollar is actually railing in the camp of our team Nigeria at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. Alpha wants to make a comment, but hold your comment at this point in time. After this short break, we get to read some of your comments on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Don't go nowhere. welcome from that short break. You still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. We actually talking about the Puma deal that was just being terminated by Puma themselves. At this point in time, just so sad. If okay, I just want to read some of the benefit that actually should have come with Team Nigeria getting to wear the Puma kit in at the Olympic Games. For a gold medal at the Olympic Games, the winner will earn $15,000 annual dollars for a gold medalist, while silver medalist will get 5,000, while bronze medalist will fetch an athlete wearing the Puma apparel $3,000. So assuming Asa Brume was actually wearing the jersey of Puma, she could have smiled home with $3,000. But let's just get to see the pictures of the Puma kit so that you can actually look at a beautiful kit. The next picture, look at the kits from the bags to from everything from the shoes to the bag to the face mask, everything raw, a complete. Of course, but we didn't get to use it due to the crisis, and at this point in time, and as it is, Puma has kit for different sports, not just one kit for
all sports.
all the sport. They have different kits for all the athletes, different sizes, about 40 something items. You actually get in the bag.
Absolutely.
Make your shoes from your track suit, everything there. But just so sad due to the politics actually going on in the federation and from the sport ministry, didn't get Team Nigeria getting to use those kits for the Tokyo Olympic Games. So sad.
Very sad. I mean, like we've been saying, we can stay here and discuss this deal and what has been happening in the EFN all day, but it won't solve the problem. But I really think this kind of thing should. I mean, you think that after all these years, we've gone past this kind of wranglings in federations. So, I mean, it clearly shows that the only reason why people are there in those federations is for themselves, just to line up their pockets and not actually because they're interested in developing sports or athletics, as the case may be, but for just their selfish interest. Because if truly you're there for the benefit of the athletes, why will there be wranglings over something as easy as a federation election? So over positions and all of that. And even after the elections, what happened to reconciliation? I mean, even in war-torn countries, rebel leaders get to reconcile at one point, shoot their swords, and come together. So, I mean, what's the big deal with not being able to reconcile in just a sports federation? At the end of the day, the biggest losers have been the athletes, and by extension, even Nigeria.
Just too bad, really sad. We hope that all the stakeholders get to sit down on the round table and end all the crisis, with the bedeviling sport in Nigeria generally. But from that story, we'll move to another one where dollar reigns supreme in Tokyo as the sports ministry, talking about the federal government, has actually rewarded the athlete. The two athletes actually won the bronze and the silver medal. Talking about is a Brume and Oburu lesson. They are both giving $10,000 each for winning the medals at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. So sadly, this might be the only two medals that will be winning the Tokyo Olympic Games. But Vivian, let's get your reaction. Sports Ministry getting to reward medalists at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games.
I'd say that it seems that they've increased the prize after we've actually won medals and not thinking about doing it sooner whilst the medalists were competing or trying to encourage them way more than they've currently did so far. Again, this isn't particularly a huge amount of money compared to other countries like the United States or Italy, for example. This could be a distraction once again. These are maybe the only two athletes that are going to actually win a medal for Nigeria. But hopefully, we can just do better than this and stop playing with the politics and stop doing the blaming who did war and just continue to focus on the athletes.
Of course, speaking at the ceremony, the sports minister, Sunday Dare, actually saying that he commended the athletes for doing the nation proud, saying it was no need delaying the reward. According to him, he said there's no point delaying the reinforcement of these athletes who have made the country proud. That is the reason that we rewarded immediately for their record-breaking performance. Chioma was the first person to actually win gold medal for Nigeria at the long jump at Atlanta 96 before Esepume followed with the bronze medal. While Burududu is the first Nigerian wrestler to actually win a medal at an Olympic Games. But looking at the comment from the minister. Okay, I still have a comment from Oburududu. I said I'm just so super excited. I want to thank you for all your support and the federal government of Nigeria for the encouragement. Looking at Sunday's diary comment and Oburududu's reaction on the prize money. What do you make of it?
Not like I said yesterday also. Rewarding the athletes is not a bad thing in itself, but why come up with these kinds of things right in the middle of a major competition such as the Olympics? These kind of things would have been already outlined even before they left, or better still, why not even just keep it under wraps when they come back? Definitely when they come back, you do maybe host them to an event or something, and during that event you can make this kind of announcement and give them whatever is due them. But not a bad thing. But Nigeria, we have this habit of trying to just disrupt, a different event with something else that does not even really relate. I mean, why go to the camp to start sharing money, giving money to, like he said clearly that there's no need to wait for before they get back, before they give them the money and all that. But I commend the ministry, but I think there are better ways of doing these kinds of things. You could always wait for a better forum, a better opportunity, not in the heat of while everybody is still in competition mode and you're going there to dole out money. I mean, who does that? How many countries have we heard that are doing that? I mean, for some countries, we've even heard of the rewards they have outlined for people who come out with their good, but we haven't heard of any situation where a minister or a certain federation president is going to camp to start sharing money to certain people who have won medals. So I just think we need to start doing things the right way and not, because in Nigeria we do things upside down. When people are going this way, it looks like we are going this way. So I think it's time to really do things correctly, the way things are done in all over the world.
Of course, Vivian, what do you advise going forward on the reward of Nigerian athletes? Should there be more funding, and should we be doing this at the middle of a competition, promising athletes that if they get to win gold, they will get some, sum of monetary reward?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, all of this is just a distraction. I think again, the prize money should be set from the very start, not changing it or increasing it during the match only because we've simply won medals. Were they underestimating the abilities of the athletes if they then decided to increase the prize money afterwards? And also add that it is really important that we focus on the athletes and try to just do best than what we are currently doing. We should be performing way better than this. We are the African giants, so why shouldn't we be winning gold medals or silver medals more often?
You also said at this point in time that no one any gold medal in the Olympics. Gold medal, I think far back as 2000 thereabouts when the men's 400 meters event, they actually picked the gold because the US team they were
That's in
disqualified.
Sydney.
In Sydney, yeah, of course, they were disqualified and they were handed the gold medal. But ever since then, we are yet to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. Just so sad that we don't get to support our athlete before competition. We wait for when the competition has started. That's when we now start running helter skelter. We're now looking for how to motivate them and for them to do the magic and win medals for the country. So sad. But away from that one, we'll go to another cheering news at this point in time, where Nigeria's own representative talking about referee at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games, talking about patient Madu. She grabs a deserving medal for representing, for actually officiating in an Olympic game in that particular one. Madu, who is a FIBA project for development, was appointed as an studying for the Tokyo Games, but she had unprecedented privilege after passing all fitness medical tests to be given the privilege of officiating 3 matches as a fourth officials during the game. She was among the 15 women technical stroke match officials remaining after the group stage, as other officials departed their various countries as the game progressed. Madu, who got her FIFA badge in 2018, has shown tremendous growth and ability of interpreting the rules of the games in various FIFA stroke CAF engagement involving. She is an Elite A referee representing the Enugu State Referee Council, and they are almost rounded up her PhD from the University of Nigeria. Looking at her among the 15 referees for the Tokyo Olympic Games, for me, I think this feat is unprecedented. What do you think?
Unprecedented. I mean, like we said, the ladies stay winning as long as this Tokyo Olympics is concerned. I mean, once again, another woman has been, given a great recognition by FIFA for officiating in the Tokyo Olympics. What happened to the male referees? Well, we'll leave that for another day. Maybe because of the quality of officiating, sometimes we even see right here in our NPFL. But I mean, kudos to her for her to be able to even rise up to the occasion. I mean, according to the FIFA statement, she was able to scale through all of the hurdles, all of the tests she needed to do to, and she did that excellently. So kudos to her, and FIFA had no choice but to, give her a special recognition, for, being one of the officials at the Olympics. So congratulations to her once again.
Viva, what do you think that Nigerian can do for us to get more representation when it comes to referee getting to officiate international matches? Because we know that I think yes, we have just one Nigerian officiating in the weightlifting event, but sadly we didn't actually qualify for that event. But now we have an official from weightlifting and fun football. At this point in time, what should we do for us to increase our participation when it comes to officiating?
Yeah, it's all based on again focusing on the athletes and just trying to understand that the more we invest in them, the more we train them, the more we believe in them, it's only going to make us win more medals such as this. I'd say that again, once again, like we've mentioned, it's just how Nigerian women are saving whatever reputation Nigeria still has in these Olympics, and it's really sad and also beautiful to see. But we just have to wait and see what else is going to happen in the next few years to come.
Of course, we're actually looking forward to see more Nigerians getting to officiate games in international tournaments. Away from that, we move straight to the games that we'll be participating in tomorrow, where we'll see our women's 4 by 100 meters starting their quest for Olympic medal in that particular event. That will be starting with the second heat, where the likes of Greece, Nwakocha, Toby Amuson, Ese Brome, and Patience Okun George. That will be the one representing Nigeria in the 4 by 100 meters event. But just so sad, we had athletes like Blessing Okabari, I know Rosemary Chukuma, and some of our athletes were supposed to run for this particular event, but due to the disqualification and to the suspension of Blessing Okabari, we are now we're now relying on the services of Toby Amuson, Grace. It's a Brume. For me, she's not a real track athlete, but she has been drafted to actually.
We're not forgetting that the other lyrics, patients also fell short.
Of course.
So here we have her again. No, not being pessimistic, but I really don't see us winning anything in this 4x1. To be honest with you, I mean, there's nobody I can really point out here and say this is a tested runner in this kind of event. Yeah, like okay, that's unfortunately that was not like I said in athletics you have certain athletes who are specialists in different fields. Yes, some athletes do long jump, do the tracks, but they always have their strongest points. For an Esebrume, for instance, I don't think tracks is one of our strongest points. She's a long jumper, but of course, due to the shortage we have in our team, the lack of personnel as a result of the ban, we had to draft some of these people who are not even specialists in that field to to just make up the numbers and at least have a chance of competing and by any case maybe start having a chance to even win a medal. But seriously, it will be a miracle sort of to say if this if these girls win a medal in the relay that happened. So, but I mean, it's good. They have another chance to participate in yet another event. So maybe they'll gain some experience from that, have a chance to, feel the tracks once again in Tokyo, and whatever it is, we'll keep an eye on that game. It's coming up by 2:05 a.m. Nigerian time. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see how they fare.
Of course, Vivian, looking at this team that will be facing the likes of the Jamaicans, the US team, the Great Britain team, we saw that in the 100 meters event at the Jamaica, 3 of them, they actually won the gold, they are the silver and the bronze medal. And we are expected to face those guys with this list of athletes actually mentioned earlier. No disrespect to this athlete, but we see it as a difficult task and a high mountain for the likes of Grace, Toby Amoson, Brume, and George to climb. But let's get your thoughts about this particular issue.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jamaicans, they've won 3 medals, one consecutive after the other, and they are going to, of course, do as well in these meters coming up soon. I'd say that, again, this is just a result of having less athletes because of the chaos that was created with the disqualification, because of the human growth drug that was used, unfortunately, by Blessing. And again, this is just a consequence of what happens when we do not focus on the athletes, when there's a lot of distraction, and we just have to select someone like Brume that may not be one of the fastest sprinters to compete in a profession that she's not really fully qualified for. So we just have to wait and see what's going to happen tomorrow. But hopefully, I wish the girls all the best tomorrow.
That's Vivian is actually not wishing all the girls all the best. But before we go for that, we just have to take our last commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be looking at the medals table. Hopefully, we should say 1 or 2 things about Grace, Toby, AC Brume, and Patient Okon that quest for them to win medals at the 4x100 meters event. I'll also get to read your comment at Adekuoroye.
Preview.
Welcome from that short break. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. We move straight to this one that US Sydney. She has matched her own world record with a twinning run as she took the Olympic gold medal in the 400 meters hurdles event. She actually was holding the record time of 51.4 seconds after beating her previous record of 51.90 seconds. She was actually followed by another American, Daniel Mohammed, in that particular one. So she actually no smashed her own record she was holding before 51.90 record, and at this point in time, she has finished 51.46 seconds. What an impressive run! 400 meters hurdles event. This is just spectacular from this particular event.
This are the kind of things we talk about. When you are exposed to the best of facilities, countries who really know the value of sports. She set a record previously, and coming into this Olympic, I'm sure that was her ambition.
Yeah.
Exactly. That in this Olympic, I'm going to smash my own personal record, smash it and set a new one. So, but when your sporting, whole your sporting structure is superb. The Olympians or your athletes sort of have the leverage to achieve unimaginable things. So these are one of the things. These are results of proper investment, the right structures, and the right people, the right planning, of course, the right programs in place for these athletes. So kudos to her. So we hope that a day will come to when Nigerian athletes will set the record and the following Olympics. Actually,
Smash it.
exactly. We look forward to these things, but for we to achieve these things, of course, these things don't happen by just wishful thinking or by daydreaming. These things are things that takes conscious time and effort. A lot of investment going into these things to actually make it a reality. So until we follow that route, I don't see it happening. But for it to happen, we need to do the right things.
According to Sydney, she said, "I can't really get it straight in my head yet. I am sure I will process it and celebrate later." Vivian, looking at Sydney's performance, she actually smashed her own record of 51.90, and she created a new world record of 51.46 seconds. What do you make up of that? Do we see a Nigerian getting to set a world record and getting to smash it in an Olympic?
Never say never. Anything can happen. I just want to, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Of course, never say never. That is what Vivian. She does not. For me, she does not sound confident that Nigerian can actually create a world record and get to smash it in an Olympic Games. But let us keep our finger crossed. We hope that the right people who are sport technocrat, I get to be
Proper technocrat, not
proper-
politicians or
normal
people who
politician.
just who happen to just get into those positions by chance
because I
or by knowing one or two people around. Exactly.
of course, guess to take the hem of affairs and get to pilot our sport to to place it in the world map. But for that, we head straight to the medal table. Let's look at what the medal table is actually looking at today after some games must have been decided to today. We see the likes of People's Republic of China, getting to win 32 gold medal, 22 silver medal, 16 bronze medal, making a total of 70 on the medals for them. United States of America followed with 25 gold medal, 31 silver medal, 23 bronze medal, making a total of 79. Japan with 21 gold medal, 7 silver, 12 bronze, making a total of 40. Great Britain with 15 gold medal, 18 silver, plus 15 bronze medal, making a total of 48 bronze medal. While Australia, Russia have 14 medals, 14 gold medal, 21 silver, 18 bronze. Germany has 8 gold medal, 8 silver medal, 16 bronze. France 6 gold medal. Italy also have 6 gold medal. Netherlands has 6 gold medal. Republic of Korea 6. New Zealand 6. They all have 6 medal. Then Cuba have 5 gold medal. Wow, that must have come coming from boxing and all that. I guess that Hungary, Canadian, Brazil, Czech Republic, they all have 4 gold medal apiece. While Switzerland, Poland, Croatia have 3 gold medal each. But looking at the medals table, don't you think it's done and dusted for China? Because at this point in time, we just have about 4 days to go to the end of the Olympics. Do you see China, getting to run away with the Olympic title this year?
Absolutely. The way as it stands currently, I mean, they're clearly, the winners already, followed closely by, of course, the US. Like we continue to say here, the battle has continued to, they were in, at the point it looked like they were going neck to neck. Where initially, the Japanese, started really well. Then the Chinese sort of, the US were like in second, third, were always fluctuating between second and third. And, the Chinese suddenly frogged the two of them and are now in the first position. And once they landed at that first position, they've held on to it, closely followed by the US, who, and in addition to China, who have clearly, given a complete gap to the rest of the chasing pack, of course, but there's a Great Britain there. And it's interesting to note that while going through those medal table, I noticed that in the top 10 countries with the highest medals, the at least 6 of the G7 countries are there, the world powers, so they are not world powers just in, they are world powers in everything, even when it comes to sport, so kudos to them, kudos to the Chinese. I mean, 25 years ago in Atlanta, if I could remember, the Chinese, I don't remember the Chinese winning up to 4 gold medals, but in just another 25 years, look at where they are. But, like we say here all over and over again, these things don't happen overnight. They don't happen by wishful thinking or by dreaming.
Or by prayer and fasting.
Exactly. No, they don't happen just like that. Even though those things are all equally important too. But, the Chinese have worked their way up, to the very top. And now the whole world is clearly seeing the work that they put in over, this year. So kudos to them. I mean, you can't take it away from them. I mean, like a popular late Nigerian businessman once said, he said, work is actually your prayer in action. So, I mean, the Chinese have walked it up, and now they are clearly on top when it comes to the Olympic Games.
Vivian, the last Olympic in Rio, Brazil 2016, we saw the Americans, running home with the title. They actually won a 46 gold medal in that particular, Olympics. And right about now, they have about 25 gold medal, and a certain China has 32. Do you see China, running away with this, competition, or do you see a U.S. team, are coming back to actually pick the overall medals?
I think China will win this power struggle. Just for the fact that I think they have over 600 athletes that competed. I was watching gymnastics the other day, and 16-year-old Chinese gymnastic, a little young girl that actually won, and there were two in that competition in the final. So it's just something that is normal for countries like China, the United States, and Britain as well. I'd say that if we then scroll down, we have Nigeria.
Oh,
We have Nigeria, but like Alpha said, 25 years from now, anything can happen. Could we have Nigerian? No, could we have African countries in the very top 10 category? So we just have to wait and see.
Of course, so we just have to wait and see. Every time we say we keep going back to the drawing board.
the drawing board is already full.
I think also
The drawing
share
board is full already. So
sharing your thought about the drawing board at this point in time is full. We should start doing the right thing they were supposed to do. Winning a medal in the Olympics is just a day job. You have to work for it over the years. It's not just come on the platter of gold. You have to work for it. But looking at the medal table, where we see Nigeria is placed at 68 on the medal table with just one silver medal and one bronze medal. So we are ranked on the 60. While Ghana, they have one bronze medal in that particular one. At the likes of Cote d'Ivoire, they have one bronze medal also. Egypt, they have two bronze medals in that particular, while Namibia, they have one silver medal. That actually make up the African continent. Earlier on, we saw Ethiopia and Canada and Uganda getting to win gold medal in the ongoing Olympics. I'm just so proud of them. They have one,
bronze.
of course. That's Ethiopia. Then Uganda have one gold medal, one silver medal, and one bronze also. Looking at Tunisia, they have one gold medal, one silver medal. It means that they are actually doing well. Morocco have one gold medal. Just imagine Morocco winning gold medal. Uganda, we know they are very good when it comes to the long distance. We're looking at Kenya. Kenya also they have won one gold medal, two silver medal, two bronze medal. All those medals, hopefully, they actually came from the long distance race. South Africa, they have one gold medal, two silver medal, making it a total of three medals at the Olympics. Hopefully, is there any hope that our own Chukwuebuka can win a medal for tomorrow?
I see. We'll look forward to his game, and there's also the 4x1. Even though I don't really expect anything spectacular, but let's see what Chukwuebuka does. Hopefully, he gets to win a medal.
Of course, sir. Hopefully, he gets to win a medal. Vivian, we want to thank you for joining us all the way from Sheffield United. I hope you are actually celebrating Great Britain because they are doing well on the medal table.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Alpha, it has been me and you from day one and up to this point. We just have like 4 days to go, and it has been nice, talking sports with you.
Looks like we're the last man standing. Way to go. So always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, thank you, our viewers, for staying with us throughout the show. We'll make a return tomorrow, bigger and better. It's still Tokyo 2020, 120 minutes. Of course, we can't forget our sponsors, talking about Car Sprint. You can actually check them out at www.carsprint.com.ng. They are the best printing, when it comes to printing your books and your artwork in Nigeria. Also, not forgetting NDLEA. They are saying no to drug. They are supporting Nigeria, saying good luck to the team Nigeria all the way. And also not forgetting Nimasa. They're actually supporting Nimasa, steering the maritime industry to a better future. They're actually supporting the show, and they're wishing Nigeria all the best in the Olympic Games. But for now, we take a break. We say we return tomorrow, better, bigger. We want you to actually join us tomorrow when we come on the show. But for now, we're saying bye-bye. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye-bye for now.